Today is Easter Monday and we're doing another piece of art today. I'm not sure if anyone's here yet. I'm probably a little bit early. That's better. Okay. We'll start in a minute. I always just start here talking a little bit and just saying hello to people, and it's a chance to get to know who's online and things. The actual lesson will start in about 5 or 6 minutes from now, so please just whiz on forward if you're watching on catch up. You don't need to watch all this, but then on the other hand I tell you about the other things I do, so it's quite nice if you could. Oh, we've got a few of you there. I've got Anita, I've got Sheila. Fantastic, thank you for sending those paintings through. Sheila's done the art classes with me and she sends me through her pictures like anyone who's done the proper art classes with me does, and then I'll comment on it. I don't charge you any more for that. She's been doing some great things on her own at home. And Anita, nice to see you again. Pamela, I think you're going to turn into my fan club, you three. Hello, that's Em, and I take it that's Jack. I've got a hi Jeannie for Anita, that's nice, thank you. Do put up your smileys and your hearts and things. It's when I'm teaching, it is nice. I'm getting more used to talking to an empty room, but it's still all a bit weird. So but anyway, I hope you're all enjoying these. If you are, please, please, please put a comment up on my Facebook or my Facebook Art Jeannie or my Facebook Art at the Beach. And there's a place where you can put a comment so other people know that I'm kind of nice to teach you, I hope. And also you could always put something up on my TripAdvisor, Art at the Beach Newquay. That would be lovely as well, because it's nice to have a few comments. None of these lessons are costing anything for you. They are just my way of saying thank you. And tomorrow my daughters, one of them's likely to be being right on the front line, and I'm very proud of her. So this is my way of saying thank you to everyone in the NHS, and then obviously I'm very proud of my other two children as well. They're both doing amazing things, but at this exact moment the NHS, I think, deserves a huge accolade. So if you want to do anything to thank me for doing this, put a comment up for me, that would be great, but always just donate something to the NHS, that would be lovely. Hello Vanessa, nice to see you again. Hi. We'll start in a couple of minutes, so just bear with me. I always come up a little bit early just so people know they're in the right spot, but I won't start teaching for another 2 or 3 minutes. We're doing something a bit daft today, but daft's good. And I keep coming up with all these ideas. A number of them, not all of them, have come back from when I used to be a classroom teacher. And you're going to learn a little bit more about me today, which is, I used to be a classroom teacher. Oh, Anita's your sister. I didn't realise that, Pamela. Okay. I used to be a classroom teacher and taught all sorts of subjects, but my specialist subjects were always art, which won't surprise you, but also drama, which some of you might not know. But something I'm going to show you today will be a bit to do with my drama background. Anyway, just before we start, as usual, I'm just quickly going to show you this. I also do private lessons. I'm going to start up a group Zoom lesson doing this probably next week now, after next weekend. And basically this is the progress here from that to that of a 10-year-old girl, works with anyone of any age or ability, no previous experience required, and it's teaching you the equivalent of the grammar, spelling and punctuation of art. 3 hours on perspective. Even architects have said they couldn't believe what they learnt. Usually it's a walk on the beach. At the moment we can't do that, but I can still do it other ways. Huge amount of information. I know it's a funny phrase, but these aren't wishy-washy lessons. They are really full of information. And last but not least, 3 hours on paint and colour, which is generic to all mediums, so it's giving you a good grounding. And then after that 9-hour course, which is really, really full on, and a lot of information, which I then back up for free afterwards. Anytime you need any consultation or just me going over anything again, that all happens for free from that. Then this was a 90-year-old stroke victim after only 5 lessons produced that, having been like that. This was a 50-year-old German lady after 4 lessons, and this was a 40-year-old Sri Lankan man after 3 lessons, did that of his son. So the learning curve is amazing. That's why companies like UK Sport, Discovery Channel, Neuroscience, Oxford University have used me. These lessons are not really showing you what I do in those lessons. They're showing you just a bit about how I teach, I suppose. But those are kind of full-on knowledge, core fundamental knowledge. These are just kind of fun things to do on a nice day to keep you entertained a bit as well. But also there's some good stuff in there. Okay, so we're nearly there. We've got a few more popping up. We've got 28 now. Hello all of you. If any of you right now would be so kind as to like and share me while I'm live, that would be fantastic because it gets more people watching. So if you could just like this right now underneath the screen and share at this very moment and also afterwards, that would be fantastic. We'll just leave it another minute, then I'm going to start. You need today A4 paper, 1 or 2 sheets of that, whatever you've got there. You need something to colour and press on that you're not going to damage. So if you've got a nice table or something, maybe put another piece of paper underneath it or something like that. So you need a piece of paper. You need some old tea bags. Yum. For the greatest tea drinker in the world, that's easy for me. You need some coffee granules. I think this is a cookery class I'm doing. You need some warm water. I've got it in there. And I didn't say, because some of this you can do afterwards, but I'm going to use one of these cooking trays as well, and I've got some felt pens. So I don't know if you've worked out what we're doing yet, but it's all very silly, but silly's good. I like silly sometimes. Okay, so I think we're just about there, so we will start. What we're going to do today, daft as it might seem, I think I've got some of the things I'm doing a little bit on the wrong days at the moment, is we are going to make a treasure map. Now I know you're meant to have been out chasing Easter eggs yesterday, so maybe I should have done a treasure map yesterday, but we're going to do it today. Now we're going to do it as a treasure map because that's fun. But you could also, I remember when I was at school, I used to love history. And something that gave me huge joy was you used to be able to buy replicas of old, beautiful written letters and things like that. And I used to really covet that sort of thing. And so you could make this a piece of paper that you're going to write a poem on. Hello, Claire. A poem, it could be a letter, it could be a little thing about how you feel about being locked down at the moment and things. It could be anything you like, so it doesn't have to be a map. You could even do a sketch of a face and make it look like it was done in the 14 or 1500s. So please don't think I'm only teaching you treasure maps. One thing I always say is that I'm giving you an idea, and what I love when I teach is not to make people all do exactly what I've done, but to kind of run with the idea and think, Jeannie did that, but what could I do with that? And then send me pictures afterwards. Hello, Claire, nice to see you. So I've got my piece of paper here, but I'm going to do a giant version so you can see me, and you'll be pleased to know that today you're not going to see my socks through my glass table or anything. We're going to do it standing up again. So you want your paper this way, which is called landscape. For anyone new, that's portrait, this is landscape. We're going to go landscape. And I'm going to use my big pad here, so I'm just going to pretend this was my sheet of paper. Okay, so that's my sheet of paper. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to me so you can see a bit better. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay. Now, the first thing we need to do to your piece of paper is take it and very, very carefully tear the edges. So you don't want to tear huge bits like that. You want to almost like nibble little bits out of it, almost like you're a mouse or something. And you want to go along and just tear along. So you've got to hold it quite carefully and just tear out little nibbly bits, almost like it's having little chunks taken out of it. And you'll see you get a really interesting edge like that. I'm not taking a huge amount of paper off, just a little bit. So if you could just tear along the edges, you don't want to use scissors for this, you definitely want to tear it. And there's my first edge. So if you could all do that first. If you like to like and share this right now, then some other people could watch me live as well. And maybe at least like and share it afterwards. But if you do it now, it's quite good. I'm going down this side now, and I'm just sort of nibbling away again, and I'm coming out a bit, in a bit, don't make it all regular, make it a little bit unusual. So you've got a big in and a little out and whatever else. Keep changing it around. So look, we've got this going along. There's one edge. This one's quite nice because look, it's really unusual. This one's getting a bit boring, so I need to do something a little bit more exciting. So I'm going to go in a bit more there, and then out and in, and out and in. Right, now I've got that side as well, like that. That looks a bit more interesting. Now I've got to do these two sides as well. Now when you've torn all four sides, could you give me some love hearts and thumbs ups and things, just to give me a kind of sense of the time it's taking you. Don't make it all even. If it starts looking a bit boring, then do something, maybe you can come from the other end a little bit and just make it a bit more interesting. Don't tear too much paper off and just do it little by little using both hands. Right, so I've done that edge. So here's going to be my treasure map, or my old-fashioned piece of writing. I suppose you could actually write a beautiful old piece of music on it or something as well, and make it look like it was a really old piece of paper. And if you wanted to make it look like an old photograph, I suppose, thinking about it, you could photocopy a black and white image onto your A4 paper first, and then you could start ripping the edges and messing around with it as well. So that might be an idea as well, if you printed something out in black and white. Right, there's the beginning of my treasure map. Ooh, we've got quite a few people doing nearly there. Now I'm going to be a bit weird, why not? I'm going to fold this a little bit. Now we've sort of done this before with scissors. I'm just going to fold it a little bit, just in one corner. It's in no particular spot. And then I'm going to tear a little hole in my map as well, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. So that my map's now got a hole in it as well. Don't tear lots of holes in it, or else it's going to end up looking like a mouse has been at it or something. But here you can now see, and I might actually tear a little line down here where it splits, and I might tear the little split bit out of it so it looks like it's ripped down there at some point. There. Right, so then we've got really nice old-fashioned looking piece of paper. So we're going to imagine I've done all of that on here, and actually I might just put this one in the middle because I think you can see. Now lay this on top, your one on top of something else you can colour on. And then where you can, if you've got black or dark brown, colour the edges of your paper with the felt pen. And you don't have to be perfectly accurate. And sometimes you can come in a bit more and make a bigger dark bit like that. And sometimes you can just leave a bit without any dark on it. And the word we have for this is random. You can be a bit random. Random is good, because if it's all too organised, it will never look what we call authentic. It's going to look like you've made it. So I'm just gradually colouring my edges like that. And look, here I missed a little bit, and so I could either colour that in or not. Hi Jack, nice to see you. So you need to go all the way around the edge, and I'm going to go round the hole as well. So I'm going to keep doing that while you're doing yours. So I'm just colouring dark, and it could be some dark brown, some black. And the reason I've got the piece of paper underneath is then I can actually colour over the edges onto the paper underneath, or the newspaper, whatever it is, just so you don't mark a table or anything. Please don't draw on Mum's best table or your own best table or anything like that. Now this bit, I'm going to do a bit of a dark chunk up there for some reason. Just make it interesting and make it have as much variety as possible, because variety is good. So I'm colouring around the edges still. And if I miss a bit here and there, it doesn't matter. If I come in and out a bit here and there, it doesn't really matter. Don't just leave a felt pen line though. You just want these as areas of colour. It's not just a straight dark felt pen line. It's kind of more scribbly and blocked in and erratic than that. That means very changeable, if we've got any littlies out there today. Now this one's got a few fiddly bits again, and I promise tomorrow I'll do interesting things still, but I might make it so we don't have to involve a parent if you're younger, because I know some of the parents for trying to work at home and things. So there we go, dark around the edges like that, and I'm just going to go dark around the whole as well. So can you give me some hearts and smiles and that when you've done all of that? And this is all a bit scribbly. If your pen's running out a bit, strangely enough, that's a good thing. And you don't want any dead straight lines on this. There we go. So this is the beginning of my treasure map. Right, so can you send me up some hearts and things when you're ready? Ooh, obviously it's taking people time now. You've gone all the way around your edges. Send me up some. Oh, we've got some people coming now. Has anyone got around all their edges now? And they've got a nice raggedy looking piece of paper now. Oh, here we go. Looks like people are getting there now. Great. Fantastic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make this like a proper treasure map. Now, obviously, if you want to just write beautifully in, say, a calligraphy pen, a poem on here or something, and then do what else we're going to do, you could do that. You can do what you like. You want preferably to have permanent markers, but if they're not, it's just probably going to add to the effect. And I'm going to have mine that way up. And in the top corner over here, I'm going to do a compass. So I'm going to draw a straight line with an arrow. I'm going to make it a pretty arrow. Again, do this maybe in your pencil first, then go over it in felt pen if you're a bit worried. So that's a little arrow there in the middle. And then I'm going to do a crisscross through it. I'm going to make this into a compass, because all good pirate maps have a compass in the corner. So we've got that in the corner. And at the top, I'm going to put an N for north, an N for north. And at the bottom, I'm going to put S for south. And then going across, it reads we. So you put west over there and east over there. So that's my little compass. And if some of it's fallen off the edge of the paper because the paper's been ripped and it's old, that's all fine. So we need that on the corner. And I might put a couple of like little crisscrosses through the middle here just to make it look a bit prettier. And I might put just little marks on it again just to make it look a bit prettier. So there we go. I've got a little compassy thing in the corner. So that's the first thing to put on there. Now, if it's a map, and if this was a treasure map, you could make it a map of your own house and hide some things around and then give it to somebody in your family to try and discover where the buried chocolate or buried treasure is or something, or of your own back garden. You can do what you like, but I'm just for now doing a traditional treasure map. So that's the edge of my map. I'm going to draw the edge of my island now. And again, we want it a bit jiggly and wiggly. I don't want an absolutely straight island. So I'm going to draw, this is my treasure map island. And it's going to be a very wiggly jiggly shape that's going to pretty much fill. There we go, that's the shape of my island. Very strange shape island I've got my treasure hidden on. And I'm going to do a little island off it as well. You know how sometimes you have these little isles off it? I'm actually going to have two over there. So we've got two little islands over there. And then we can have, maybe we could draw on there some trees possibly to show where there was a woodland. So maybe we've got a little woodland up here. So I might draw some little trees, and I could do these in colour, or I can do them in black, or I could do them in black first and then add colour. So I'm going to have, this is my little forest up here. So there's my little forest up in that corner. I think I might add a bit of colour to that, so I'm going to put a little bit of green on it. So we're going to put a little bit of green on my trees as well as the black. There we go. Make it an interesting forest. And what I might do around the edges, because this is quite good fun, is when I was at school I also liked geography, and we used to always do this around the edges of maps. We used to colour little zigzaggy blue ocean right around the edge of the island like this. So you could maybe colour a bit of blue around your islands. Remember, this could be a poem on this kind of, we're going to age the paper up in a minute. It could be a map, it could be a photo, you could draw a picture of a face and age it up. I'm just doing maps because I thought it was fun. So there we go. And I'm colouring around the edges of the ocean like this. And what we used to do as well, we used to do little diagonal lines like that, and that was one of my favourite things, was colouring in maps and doing that to them. You can see how I'm colouring like the sea around the edge, like that. And if you had a different blue, a lighter blue, I've actually only got a lighter green, so that will do, because the sea can be blue and green, can't it? Oops. Oh dear, I can't get the end off there. Yeah, I might put a little bit of that around the edge as well, around in the sea, to make it a bit more interesting. You don't have to do any of this, so it's completely up to you how you colour your map in and what you put on it, but I could do that. I could draw a couple of sharks out at sea. Oops. So I'm going to just draw the shark fin and then some waves, and I could do the waves in blue. So I've got a bit of a shark fin sticking up there, and I'm going to have another shark's fin sticking up here and some waves. So the shark's looking around, coming out to get you. You could have a mermaid if you wanted. You could have, what other things could you have on there? Oh, you could have a pond in the middle if you wanted. So you could draw another line around, and you could pretend there was a pond, say here, or a lake that was right by these trees, and then you could colour it in again like we have the sea around the outside, so people know that that was a bit of a lake. And maybe even from the edge of my sea here, if I just finish this bit round the edge there, maybe I could have a little bit of a river running in here to my lake, so it becomes a little bit more like an inlet. There really are no rules for this, just have a bit of fun. And if you wanted to do it all in black and white or brown and white and keep it in what we call sepia colours, you could do that too. So we've got that. Now we could have maybe a rock on it. So if we have a rock, I could have a cliff to show you there was a big mountain here, and then I could colour that in suitably to be a mountain that's going up here. So that's the top of the mountain there, and maybe there's a I don't know, almost like one of the Cornish things that you see at Red Roof and things up on the top of it like that. There might be something like that on it. We might have, what about something like wigwams? If we maybe had some Red Indians on this one, maybe this is Peter Pan's island. And so I could have some like little wigwams that would say this was where something was, a little township or something. So we could have that, and maybe even a little fire that I could have burning in front, so it looked like there was a little gathering of houses. You can just really do whatever you like with these, and you can fiddle around and add things. And we could of course do buried treasure on there. So if you wanted to do buried treasure or something, you could do a great big chest, which would be something like that, and then you'd be seeing back into the chest like that, and then have the big lid of the chest coming up like this and joined across like this, so you were looking inside and you could have all the jewels and things piled inside it. You could do that. You could put a footpath in it that was telling the person looking at the map which route to go, and there could even be a boat out at sea. So if I do the boat red, which is a bit of a funny colour to do it, but I'm going to do a boat red over here near the shark. I could do a great big galleon, and I could put some sails and things on it, and then I could maybe show that you need to land here, and then you're going to go on a route round that group of houses and then round here to the lake, and then you could mark your X marks the spot where your treasure's buried if you wanted to do that. You could put fish in the sea, you could do lots and lots of different things, right? Now, this is the messy bit now. Once all this is finished, so if you haven't finished this yet, I suggest you watch me now and see what I'm doing, and then finish your map and do the rest of it afterwards. So if I was you, I'd pop your pens down for a moment and have a look. Now, I did promise you, I don't want to frighten anyone, but because I used to teach drama, we once did Hamlet and we had to have a Yorick. So for anyone who knows who Yorick is, and it's only because we're doing piratey things, here's my friend, and it is all plastic, so don't worry. But he was used in many productions, and this morning when I got him out to show you, his teeth dropped out. But there you go, there's my prop. But if you want to do like a skull and crossbones on your picture, if you want to do a pirate one, but you could do like a Peter Pan one with mermaids and things, whatever you like. So what we're going to do now, this is when we're going to get a bit silly, is I'm now going to use one of these baking trays and, oh, unicorns. Now that's a dinosaurs, someone said. It's all coming out. Now I'm going to drop my map into a baking tray. And my map's slightly big for this baking tray, but that doesn't really matter, it's okay. Might have been better if I made it fractionally smaller. First thing I'm going to do is put my wet tea bags onto my map and give them a jolly good bash about. Now, because the felt pens you've got are probably permanent ink, then it won't smudge or anything, it will just make the paper look old. And it's better to do the tea bags once you've done everything else. So I'm just bashing the tea bags around on it a bit and making it get disgusting and dirty, but I'm doing it all in a baking tray. So get a mum, a dad, a granny, a granddad, an uncle, a big sister, whatever it is, big brother to help you. If you're little, if you're grown up, then obviously you're okay on your own, but you could have done a beautiful piece of writing and then age up your paper. So I'm just dotting these tea bags around. And they're just ones I used earlier because, as lots of you already know, I'm a big tea drinker, so I just saved a couple from earlier. And my whole map now is getting disgusting and dirty. Alright, so that's that. Now, I can take the tea bags away now and I'll put them back in my little bowl. And the next thing I'm going to do is I've got some coffee here. So I've got just coffee granules. And it's instant coffee is the best. And onto that wet paper, I'm going to put the coffee granules on the already wet paper. Let me show you. Oops. Don't know if you can see now. Here you go. On the edge of the map. Don't put it all over the middle. Just tend to use the coffee granules round the edge. And if this was a poem or a piece of music or something, the same. Keep the granules for the edge and maybe around the edge of that hole we made as well. And if you've used a bit of it up, then just shove a bit of it around. Don't feel that you've got to keep stealing more and more coffee. You can just pick a bit up now and move it around a bit. Right, I'm just going to shake the rest on, and then I'm going to stand the camera up again so you can see me, but I'm just going to shake the rest of my coffee on here. Oops. And then I'm going to give it a bit of a bash around, and I'm trying to keep the coffee to the edges of my map. And I might just give it a bit of a pull with my fingers here because it's not quite worked. But we're not going to worry because we don't want it too perfect. Now you can see you've got coffee and tea on there and you're in a baking tray. And my camera's falling over. Okay, so. Okay, you just landed in the coffee on the map. So there you go. It's turning into a comedy programme now. There you go. Let me tighten this up. Everything's drooping here. All right. Oh, I just saw I've got some of those lovely glass fishing ball things in the corner of my room. you could have maybe drawn some of those on your map as well. So look, there's my map with the coffee on it and the tea on it. All right, so that's all looking quite revolting. The next thing you can do, but obviously do this on a flat table with a parent if you're young. What I'm going to do next is I put some warm water in my thermos cup. I'm now going to pour just a little bit of that right the way over the entire map, and I'm going to swish it around a bit. And what that's going to do is dissolve that coffee around the edges just a little bit. So I'm not putting tons of water on it. And if I hold it a little bit sideways again, you'll see I'm just twiddling it around a bit, and I'm trying to keep the coffee mainly to the edges. And if I show you looking down again now, you can see it's gone very kind of old-fashioned. It's a bit brown around the edges, which is what I wanted, but it's also got some really grubby bits in the middle here and there. Right, so standing that up again, and before I make any more mess, which I'm doing quite successfully today, I'm going to show you one and do the line that I always loved on Blue Peter, which is here's one I made earlier, because that's going to be less messy. What I'm going to do with this one though, the one that's in the tray, is you could go and put it out in the garden and let it dry in the sun, and you're going to have to leave it for quite a long while. If somebody is using the oven later though, the best one to do is put it into a hot oven after it's been turned off and leave it in there for maybe 10-15 minutes. And when it comes out, it's like this, and it's gone all crunchy. Can you hear it? It's gone all kind of crackly and crunchy now, and it's got watermarks and stains and disgusting things, and it's gone really, really wrinkly. And it starts looking like really old paper. And obviously this one I didn't draw a map on, but strangely enough the coffee kind of almost made an X marks the spot on its own. So all I did on this one was colour the edges dark, and then I did the coffee in tea. So if the coffee moves where you didn't mean it to and things, that's all good, don't worry about it. It's just trying to get the tea in the middle and the coffee on the edges to start with. And then this whole piece of paper now is definitely browner on one side than the other, but it's still quite brown on that side, although it's not showing in this light. And it definitely looks like old-fashioned paper. So you could then have had a beautiful poem or something, as I said, written on it, and then you could pin it up on a wall or whatever it is. Now this one, oops, I can't hold it up again, the one that I've just made today, because it's so wet at the moment. It's going to have to go in my oven or out in the garden to dry. But if I take the phone off the hoist, I can angle you over it again. And so with any luck, you're now looking straight down on it. And when that dries out, that one's going to be even better, I think, the one I did earlier. But you need it to dry out, and the best way of doing that is to put it in the oven after you finish using it tonight, or leave it out in the garden for now and then pop it in the oven. Don't leave it in the oven too long because it might catch fire. That's why I'm saying just have an adult around, and I wouldn't actually have the oven on. I would use it that you've turned the oven off but it's still hot, and I would put it in then and then just let it dry out. Or dry out naturally. So anyway, that's today. I promise I won't be so messy tomorrow, and I promise I'll try not to drop the camera. But I just thought it was fun over the Easter weekend to do a few things that were a little bit more messy and a bit more strange. And so you can have a go at that. It's a great way of aging something up and making it look older, be it a poem, a piece of music, something you want to pretend was an old document. If you do theatrical productions or anything, it's quite nice if you wanted to hold something up that was meant to be an old document or something like that. So here's the one I made earlier, and it's lovely and crunchy now. And even if I just bent it up a bit and things, it starts looking more and more authentic as an old document. And this could be the treasure map that then somebody finds. You could even roll it up. I know it would be fun. You know, pop it in a bottle as if it had come in, floating in from the sea in a bottle. So there you go. Bit of a daft idea, but I hope you have some fun with it. And please do send me photos afterwards so I can see what you've been up to. If you need ideas for a treasure map, go online and just search treasure maps, and lots of pictures come up. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Somebody's suggesting blowtorching it. I haven't suggested that today, no. I know sometimes people do different things like that, but I'm not going to suggest it because I know I might have some little people out there. I don't want them doing anything like that. So no, not a blowtorch, I don't think. Okay, so I do hope you've enjoyed it. Bit of madness, but it's quite fun to make things look old. And thank you, Emily. I think Emily is fantastic. I've got a few real regular supporters here. Please like and share. There's another, I think it's 18 lessons out there. Some are straight drawings, some are things like this. Yesterday was puppet faces. We've done embossing, we've done printing, we've done figures, we've done faces, we've done all sorts of things. So don't judge it on the one you've seen today. Have a look back. There's all manner of things. I used to teach art regularly in both Australia and in Britain, and they're all different old teaching ideas really, and mixed in with other bits and bobs. If there's a request for something sensible that I could teach you, you can always ask me as well. And I will definitely be teaching next week because the children are still on holiday and things, and then we'll see where we get to after that. But at the moment, I'm doing this to support the NHS because I feel that it's the one thing I can do to support people being at home. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please put something up on my Facebook or Art Jeanni or Art at the Beach. And remember about the professional lessons I do and the team builds and things based on psychology, physiology and physics to get you drawing to unbelievable standards in your own style within only 15 odd hours, 9 to 15 hours. So lovely to see you all. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you tomorrow. I'll put a list up tonight what you need tomorrow. It'll be simple things tomorrow, and I promise I won't be pouring messy things on the floor again like I have today. Take care, bye.